The CEO's laughter echoed across the rooftop helipad as the wind whipped his tailored suit. "You fly my helicopter," he said, smirking at the woman standing near the aircraft, holding a mop bucket. "Come on, Maria, you can't even afford a car wash, let alone fly a bird like this." Maria lowered her eyes, quietly wringing her hands. She looked every bit the humble cleaning lady, worn shoes, a faded uniform, hair tied back. The other executives laughed too, their voices dripping with arrogance. But Maria didn't flinch. She just said softly, "And what if I could?" The CEO chuckled louder, tossing his sunglasses onto the dashboard. "If you can even start this thing, I'll marry you right here on this roof." His friends howled with laughter. "Deal." Maria looked up slowly, meeting his eyes for the first time. There was something calm, something steady in her gaze that made his grin falter. "Deal," she said simply. The CEO stepped back, still amused. "Go ahead then, Ms. Pilot," he said mockingly, sweeping his hand toward the helicopter. Everyone watched as Maria walked toward it. Her steps were confident, almost deliberate. She set her mop bucket down, reached inside her pocket, and pulled out a small key, one that shimmered under the sun. The laughter faded. The CEO's smirk started to disappear. Maria climbed into the cockpit, adjusted the seat, and flipped a few switches like she'd done it 1,000 times before. The control panel came alive with beeps and lights. The engine roared. The executives froze. The CEO blinked, suddenly pale. "Wait, how do you?" Maria looked through the window, her lips curling into a faint smile. "You should never judge who's holding the mop," she said. "Sometimes, she's just cleaning up after her own aircraft." The rotor blades spun faster, slicing through the air, as she lifted the helicopter a few feet off the ground. Wind blasted across the rooftop, blowing the CEO's expensive papers into the air. For the first time, the arrogant boss didn't have anything to say. Maria hovered in front of him, the sunlight glinting off her calm face. Then she leaned out slightly and said the line that made every jaw drop. "I was a rescue pilot for the U.S. Air Force, before your company laid me off." The helicopter rose higher, leaving the stunned CEO frozen in place. The woman he mocked was now soaring above him, proving that real power doesn't wear a suit. The CEO stumbled back, shielding his face from the wind as Maria circled the rooftop. Everyone stared in disbelief. The woman they mocked every morning for mopping the floors was now maneuvering a multi-million-dollar helicopter like she owned the sky. The engine's roar drowned out the gasps, and one executive whispered, "She's actually flying it." When Maria landed smoothly, the blades slowed, and silence fell heavy. She stepped out, dusting off her hands, calm as ever. The CEO tried to recover his fake grin, though his voice shook. "All right, maybe you've had some training," he said, laughing nervously. "You made your point." Maria tilted her head. "No," she said softly, "I haven't." She reached into her cleaning cart and pulled out a small leather folder. The golden Air Force emblem gleamed under the morning sun. She opened it slowly. Inside was her official ID, medals tucked beside it. "Major Maria Coleman, U.S. Air Force, retired," it read. The CEO's jaw dropped. The same woman he had ordered to clean his office floors was a decorated combat pilot. The silence was so thick you could hear the wind whistle past. One of the secretaries murmured, "Sir, she saved pilots during the Gulf rescue missions." Maria looked straight at the CEO. "You once said people like me should stick to wiping glass," she said quietly. "But I've flown through fire to bring men home. I didn't quit when life threw dirt my way, I cleaned it up." The executives couldn't even look at her, their faces burned with shame. The CEO took a step forward, trying to fix his tone. "Maria, listen, it was just a joke." But she stopped him with one calm glance. "A joke says more about the person laughing than the one being laughed at," she said. Then she turned, ready to walk away, but paused long enough to drop one last truth that made everyone freeze. "And for your information," she said, her voice sharp now, "this helicopter. It was part of the rescue fleet I designed for your company before you stole the credit." The CEO's face turned white. "What did you say?" Maria met his eyes, unblinking. "You know exactly what I mean." The rooftop fell silent again. But this time, everyone was staring at the CEO, not with admiration, but disgust. The CEO's smirk cracked completely now. His voice trembled as he tried to regain control. Maria, whatever you think you know, you're mistaken. But Maria didn't flinch. She stepped closer, calm and steady, the wind brushing her hair back. She said. You took my designs, stripped my name from the project, and made millions. I stayed quiet because I needed to feed my son. But today, you decided to humiliate me for your own entertainment. Every executive froze. The truth hit like a thunderclap. The CEO looked around, realizing the cameras on the helipad were still recording. Turn those off. He barked, but the security team hesitated. Maria had already turned her phone toward them, red light blinking. It's already live, she said coolly. Corporate ethics meeting, right here on your own rooftop. Gasps rippled through the group. The CEO's fake confidence drained completely now, replaced by panic. Maria, please, he said, forcing a laugh. You don't want to ruin your career over. Over what? She cut in sharply. Over the truth. Her voice carried a quiet strength, the kind that came from years of being overlooked. You told me a mop was all I could handle, she said, her tone rising, but I've handled jet engines, combat storms, and arrogant men who thought they were untouchable. The executives shifted nervously. No one dared speak. Maria continued, you once told the board I quit the project because I wasn't smart enough to finish it. But you didn't know I kept everything, emails, blueprints, timestamps. She reached into her folder and pulled out a flash drive. Everything's on here, and it's already backed up. The CEO's face went pale. His hand shook as he took a small step back. You can't. Maria cut him off again, eyes sharp. You said if I could fly this helicopter, you'd marry me, she said, her voice calm but dangerous now. You might not need to. But you will answer to me, in court. A few people gasped. One of the female executives whispered, she's incredible. Maria took one last look around, then turned to leave. But before stepping into the elevator, she looked back at the trembling CEO and said the line that every employee would remember for years. Next time you mock a woman holding a mop, remember, she might just own the skies you dream of flying in. The elevator doors closed with a soft ding, leaving silence behind, except for the faint hum of the helicopter she once designed. Downstairs, the entire office was buzzing. Everyone had seen the livestream. It was trending across social media under the tag #MajorMaria. Employees gathered around phones and monitors, whispering, replaying the video again and again. The once feared CEO now looked like a fool in front of the whole country. Maria walked through the lobby with quiet dignity. People who never even looked at her before now stood up, clapping softly as she passed. The janitors, the interns, even the receptionist, all of them looked at her like she was something more than just the woman who cleaned their messes. She smiled humbly, nodded, and kept walking until the elevator doors opened behind her. To everyone's surprise, a man in a dark gray suit stepped out, tall, composed, with a Homeland Security badge clipped to his belt. Major Coleman, he said with a respectful nod. We saw the video. You've caused quite a stir. Maria blinked, unsure. Did I do something wrong? She asked quietly. The agent shook his head, smiling faintly. Quite the opposite. The department's been looking for someone with your flight record and leadership background. You're exactly the kind of person we need right now. The entire lobby went silent. Even the security guards froze. Maria frowned slightly, still in disbelief. You're saying, you want me back? The agent's expression turned serious. We want you leading a new air response division. The crowd erupted in quiet gasps. The same woman the CEO mocked was now being offered a government leadership role right in front of him, because the man himself had just stepped off the elevator too, pale and sweating, realizing how bad it looked.